Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am. We can hear you.
Very happy to welcome. It's a great blessing to be a mother or a father. Many desire to be one, but the Lord has made it possible for each and every one of us to have ours, and we are called parents. On this special program, we are here to learn from our beloved mother who God has prepared today to help us know more on how to raise children in this century. We have mighty God who will help us. Hallelujah. Let's thank you because of this great privilege to learn. We thank you because you have given us the grace to have the privilege to learn more. We pray that all the parents that will connect to this program today, that through the help of the Holy Spirit, that each and every one of them will be blessed. That they will learn more things that will help them in raising their children and in handling their families. We pray that this program will bring glory to your name. We commit your vessel that you are going to use this morning. Father, speak through her. She has prepared, but let your heavenly grace fall on whatever she has prepared, that will return all glory to you. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. I want to appreciate everyone that is present in this program today and those that will still join us. Wellspring Family Consult is a family that is newly organized to look into the affairs of the family, because every home is facing different challenges, especially in raising children. In Wellspring Consult, we are here to help you in the area of the education of your children, your finance, anywhere you have need to ask for direction or assistance in directing you or assisting you in knowing what to do in the area of education, finance, and also the upbringing of your children. These are the reasons why we are here. We are here to empower families to overcome challenges, thrive, and create lasting positive change through comprehensive counseling, financial guidance, academic support, and coaching services that enable families to build stronger relationships, that achieve financial stability, nurture educational growth, and find a healthy work-life balance. This is why we are here, Wellspring Family Consult. And our vision is to ensure that every family comes in contact with us, blossom, and thrive. If you're a family here, and when you come in contact with us, we assure you that you will surely blossom and you thrive. We have our mission to provide individual and group counseling sessions to address personal and family challenges, to provide guidance on financial planning, budgeting, and wealth management for individuals and families, to provide support for academic planning, school selection, and educational resources for children, to provide coaching services, to help families balance work, personal life, and other responsibilities, to organize retreats, focus on holistic well-being, including mental, emotional, and physical health of families. We have our core value as an organization. Our core values are compassion. We are here to feel with you in whatever that is bothering you. We have resilience. We know that it's not easy to keep going. We are here to encourage you never to give up. No matter how difficult the challenge may be, there is victory always at end. We are here for empowerment. In any area the Lord helps us empower you as a family, we are here to do that. Holistic well-being. This organization is also here to provide you with some moral and other holistic ways of living. Why are we here today? We are here today to present to us teaching for parents, parent education. It's not just getting married or having children. So many parents have failed because many have left the care for their family and children and face getting money, wealth, riches, without knowing that many have gathered that wealth, but look behind, no one to take care of the wealth. Without wasting much of our time, I want us to know that today, God has provided to us a vessel that He has prepared to present to us what the Lord has given her to help us know more. This morning, beloved parents, I want you to help me to welcome our guest. She is Dr. Toyin Sam Emeolu. She is a mother, embodied excellence in the realm of education, a lead in leadership and business consultancy. As an educationist, she is also a certified leadership mentor, coach, and business leader. She stands out at a pinnacle of her field as the CEO and lead consultant at Core Skills Transformational Academy Limited. We are highly privileged to welcome this our unique vessel. She is also armed with a doctorate degree in education planning and management from Prowess University, USA, along with a certificate in public leadership and policy from the School of Politics, Policy Science. Dr. Toyin's role as Senior Special Assistant to the Director General at the Chartered Institute of Mentoring and Coaching Nigeria, a fellow at the Chartered Institute of Management Consultants, and a member of the Pan-African Consultant Association, showcase her exceptional knowledge and expertise, making her a luminary in consulting spheres. Dr. Toyin is a unique vessel the Lord is using in our time today in all over Africa. She is driven by a fervent desire as a knowledge dispenser. She has authored 22 books, solidifying her authority and proficiency in the knowledge space. Beyond her literacy contributions, she actively engages with advisory boards of reputable organizations within and outside Africa, amplifying her influence. At the vanguard of training and development, she serves as the training and development lead at Equip Nigeria, John C. Maxwell's nonprofit organization, embodying visionary leadership and a profound commitment to the transforming of the world through leadership. My fellow parents, Dr. Toyin's journey is marked by a tapestry of accomplishments with numerous international and national awards. A devoted wife and nurturing mother of two budding leaders, she epitomizes her harmonious balance of professional acumen and cherished family values. Dr. Toyin's magnetic presence and electrifying influence continue to carve an everlasting imprint on the educational landscape, inspiring, leaving an indelible mark and shaping the trajectory of those fortunate to encounter her on her extraordinary journey. Please, we want us to welcome her as she takes us in this wonderful journey of this learning today. Please help me to welcome Dr. Toyin Sam Ehemelu. Madam, you are welcome. We are highly privileged to have you today.
Thank you
I know
so
it's not
much.
easy to get you. It's not easy to get you here, but the Lord has made it that you will be here today.
Yes,
you are welcome.
Yes. And you did not add that Dr. Toyin is my own personal coach. You didn't add that, Mrs. Peace.
She is the one pulling me from where I am, leading me to many roads that will take me to a greater height.
Amen.
I'm privileged to have you, madam.
Yes, ma. Thank you so much. I would like to meet those on the call, right? Please do drop your name, where you are watching us from, and a little bit about you. I always like to engage my audience because I love technology and the virtual world. Why? Because we're able to expand our network. I mean, I've never seen Mrs. Peace physically, but it's like I've met her all my life. It's like I've known her all my life. So I can't wait the day when I'll actually hug her, because sincerely, there's nothing like flesh and blood, irrespective of what technology could do for us. So I want us to start dropping in the chat. Thank you, Bridget. I want to start dropping in the chat your name, what's anything you'd like me to know about you. I think I'm looking forward to meet everyone on the call. I want to say a very big thank you from everyone that joined from Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire. Please, if you are joining from any other country, please do let us know on the call so that I can acknowledge you and I can acknowledge your country. Thank you so much, everyone. So we have close to about 10 of us in the room. It's important that I want to get to know others as you come in. So your name, where you're joining from, anything you would like me to know about you, that would be super, super amazing. Okay, so while we are doing that, we are going to get straight into the conversation. So first of all, you know, the Wellspring Family Consults is a vision that Mrs. Peace holds so dearly. I could remember when she reached out to me, you know, she started with the aspect of, oh, family finance. And I was like, okay, are you sure people will be ready to, okay, let's think about it. And before I knew what was happening, through different clarity sessions we had, he said, no, it's the main family. It's the, I want overall, you know. I said, okay, no problem, ma. We can always work around this, okay? And I said, all right, so that's cool. So before we knew what was happening, she was like, oh, you know, this is what I'm thinking of. This is how I want to go about it. This is what I want to get started. And then I said, you know what? We are in this together. We are in this together. Despite all the plenty things she has said I am, the most valuable position that I will ever occupy, sincerely, aside from being a child of God, aside from being a daughter of God, is that I'm a wife and a mother of two young, astonishing leaders. So on today's call, I'm going to be saying a bit about my parenting journey, you know, that I will be sharing along the way, right? Thank you, Bridget. Bridget Gorot from Nigeria. Like I said, please, if you are just joining us, let us know where you're joining in from and your name. Bridget Gorot actually happens to be my personal executive assistant, and she's very amazing. Thank you, Bridget, for all you do. It's great to have you here. So if you're going to also get to watch the replay, because I know a lot of people are still going to watch the replay of this session, please do drop on the comment section. Let's get to know you. Let's get to meet you. Okay, so let's dive into our conversation for the day, such that we have a swell time. Once you can see my screen, please do let me know in the chat room if you can see my screen. If my screen is visible, if you can see my screen, let me know so that I'm not just assuming. All right. Okie dokie. Oh, we have Esther Ekweme from Nigeria. We have Chukwuwanchi David from Abidjan. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for joining, Mr. David. We really appreciate you. Thanks so much for joining this morning. Yeah, so my screen is up. Fantastic. So as a topic given to me by my able mentee, mama, sister, and friend, parenting in the 21st century. Now, this is a very amazing topic, and I had to specifically, I took my time to think through, to pray through, to say, okay, God, direct me on how to go about this. Okay, so let's get started. So this is me in a nutshell, and I think she has already read the profile, and so I'm not going to waste our time over that again. So I'm going to move to the next slide. So what do I intend to achieve with us at the end of this webinar? So I'm going to be helping us to gain awareness of our parenting styles. We're going to be taking a critical look about, parenting styles. Parenting is about you, 21st century parenting skills. On that note, to be concluding, we'll be having summary, and please do get your questions ready as you take your notes, because really what happens is, it is when, people are actually having internal conversations with themselves during learning that questioning do comes to play. So that you will not forget, just start dropping your questions in the chat room. Bridget is here. She would help us to collate everything, and then we will kick off when it's time for the Q&A. So I don't just want only your questions. I would like your comments. I would like your aha moments, and I would like the changes you would like to make. Okay, and if you happen to watch the replay, please do drop that on the comment section as well, so that we can then take our time to answer, over time. So that's the way it's going to roll. So what is parenting? And I need 2 confident participants to respond to this question before I move on. So you can respond using the chat. You can respond by unmuting your mic. I just need to actually know what you think parenting.
The balance of training was given to us that day. Sure.
Okay, so I would appreciate if I think someone is speaking. If you can mute your mic if you are not speaking in the webinar. Okay, great. So I need 2 people to just share, what do you really think parenting is? Okay, I need you to just share in the comment section or unmute your mic. If I don't get anybody volunteering, I'm going to call names because I'm not here to, I'm a facilitator of learning. I am not a talkative. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I would like to hear from, so if you can't unmute where you are, because I know that for those in Nigeria, this is work time. For those in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, I'm aware there's public holiday, and that's why we actually fixed it today at this time. So if you cannot speak, please do type. So I think I would like Mrs. Abiodu to say something. You may want to unmute your mic or use the chat box. What really do you think is parenting? Okay, I would like to learn from us as well. Okay, and maybe Mr. David, I think Mr. David should be able to talk. Mr. David, what do you think parenting is? And any other person can actually drop, their own responses in the chat room. Okay, fantastic. I have one response. Okay, Esther says parenting is about taking sole responsibility of a child's welfare. And by welfare, I mean the spiritual, emotional, and physical needs. Beautiful, fantastic. So we have that definition from Esther, and you know, I think it's a very beautiful one. Like she said, taking sole responsibility. In other words, you are not abdicating your responsibility as a parent. Okay, Mr. David is in a busy place. So Mr. David, please, you can then drop your comments and then I'm going to read it. But I would like someone to unmute and then share their perspective on what they think parenting is. I think I'll be very excited to hear from us, someone else's voice aside from mine. Okay? Anybody, you can raise up your digital hand or unmute yourself. Okay? Okay. So if you can't unmute your mic, just drop a comment. Mr. Malachi, wow, great to have you on the call. Mrs. Abiodu, Amaka, Future, Bridget, who else? If you're on the call, I just want you, we're about 14 of us. I just want us to drop something on the call. Yeah, Temitope Adewi, I'd like you to drop something on the call. So if your gadget is, I can see Phoenix, Techno. So I will appreciate if you can rename your gadget so that I won't be calling you the name of your gadget. You get the point. But I need somebody else to drop in the comments or media mic and share with me what they think parenting is. You know, so Mrs. Esther has helped us with the first perspective, talking about being able to take sole responsibility for a child's welfare. Okay, and by welfare, she meant spiritual, emotional, psychological, and physical needs. Okay, so if you have another definition or another suggestion, that would be amazing, because my instruction says that we need 2 people to share their perspective. If 2 people don't share their perspective, I'm not going to move. I can be stubborn like that. So do we have somebody else that wants to say something or type something in the chat? Please do so for us. Okay, so like we can see in this picture, please, if you're not on the mic, please. Okay, Cost Skills is raising her hands. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. Parenting has to do with guiding a child's physical, emotional, and social development, and then become responsible beings or responsible individuals. Thank you.
Beautiful. So I can see a lot of interchanging of words there.
There are lots of
I can see a lot of interchanging of words there, and that is amazing. So I can also see from the chat box, Temitope Adewi says, parenting is about being intentional, about guiding our children on the right path, even as they grow. I like that, even as they grow. Oh, she has not finished. She now said, and ensuring they have a balanced life in all ramifications. Wow, amazing. Madam Peace, let us go home. Your participants, they already know what I want to say. Isn't that true? I guess that's the truth. Okay, so let's shoot. Right, so like I said here, okay, what I just said here is the fact that parenting has a lot to do with the act of caring, right? So all the words that I chose here were actually very, very intentional, right? It is the act of caring. So what I'm trying to say is it is important, the place of care can never be overemphasized. It is the act of caring for and guiding a child's growth and development into becoming a responsible and productive adult. Now, look at the key words there. I want us to type in the comment section the key words, the words that are jumping at you on the the words that are jumping at you on the screen. Please, I want us to chat, drop a message, drop a chat. You know, what are the words that are jumping on you on the screen? Is the act of caring for and guiding a child's growth and development into becoming a responsible and productive adults. What words are jumping on you? Okay. So we also have Mrs. Abiodun saying that parenting is being able to take care of the welfare of a child, the word in several ways, morally, spiritually, academically. Yeah. So we have words that are jumping: guiding, caring for, becoming responsible and productive adults. Thank you so much, Bridget. Mrs. Abiodun says responsible, response and productive adults. So those were the words that jumped at you. Fantastic. So I want us to take a deeper thought through this thing. Okay? The deeper thought is the fact that care is a primary word that we must not overemphasize. We cannot overemphasize, rather. We cannot underlook. Guiding is another very powerful word. And then growth and development. Who can tell me what's the difference between growth and development? My class, you will not just come here. What's the difference between growth and development? You can check Google, you are allowed. What is the difference between growth and development? So they are closely related words, but they have a little bit of differences. Okay, what is the difference between growth and development? What is the difference between growth and development? So someone should help us. Like I said, we are all here as researchers because I want us to take a very deep thought about for us to be on this call, it must be worth our time. So who is going first? What is the difference between growth, right, and development, especially as it concerns parenting? Okay, so according to ChatGPT, it says growth typically refers to physical changes, okay, like an increase in size or number, while development involves rather qualitative improvements, such as acquiring skills and capabilities. Growth is often measurable, while development is more about advancing and maturation in various aspects. So in other words, when we are talking about growth, yes, thank you, Mrs. Abiodun. Mrs. Abiodun says growth has to do with stamina. So when we talk about growth, it has more to do with quantitative, right? Measurable, numbering, okay? So when your child is growing physically, when it comes to age, is eating well, the physical, transformation, that is growth. While development is about skills and capabilities. So we don't want, yes, Mr. Malachi says growth means increase in size. You will know all those mathematicians. Mr. Timothy, growth means increase in size. Development has to do with the formation. So while growth has to do with numbers, development has to do with quality. Growth has to do with quantity. Development has to do with quality. All right. So we cannot actually quote, because like every human being, children too are spirits. They live in a body and they have a soul. So both growth and development, very critical. And then we look at the part of being responsible and becoming productive adults. This is very, very key. So we have the assignment to raise productive and responsible adults. So a quick look at this, it has to do with we being able to look at the various areas. The first, which has to do with the spiritual development. It actually involves the children understanding of spirituality, religion, or moral values. Unfortunately, you see the spiritual development, a lot of parents have abdicated that to the church on the school. How can a child that spends barely, for example, if you want to take my own church as an example, my church, under 1 hour, 30 minutes maximum, the children are out. In other words, so as a parent, you cannot afford to neglect the spiritual development of your child to the church. Even if you are a pastor's, your children are pastor's children or whatever, it is our sole responsibility to make sure that our children understand what we believe in, right? Whatever we believe in, especially the fact that every human being knows that there is a supremacy, there is this the spiritual realm that controls the physical. So how can you effectively do this? Number one is through role modeling. Let your children see you. Let them catch you praying, right? I often tell my children that when I'm praying, I'm talking to the most important person in my life. So you would have to please excuse me. So they know when they open the door and they see me praying, they just. And I'm like trying to let them know that, hey, I'm not the Almighty. I am not the El Shaddai, right? I have a God that has given me to you and given you to me to be a caretaker. So ensure you engage these children right from when, if you are a single and you are on this call, you are the most blessed. I'm not saying that the parents on this call are not blessed, but I'm saying you are the most blessed because you can begin to do this. The moment you have conceived, the moment the doctor has told you, madam, you are pregnant, the work has started. Are you getting my point? The work has started. So from that moment, you begin to lay hands on your stomach, begin to talk to God, because they are helping you, even if the child is still at the fertile stage. It will shock you. I had this understanding. So every time I'm pregnant, I go to Bible school. Very strange, right? Yes. And I usually target when I am pregnant, the 3rd month of my pregnancy, just by my 1st trimester. And I go to Bible school for 2 reasons. I begin to develop my capacity for spiritual tenacity and spiritual fortification. This is because I want to start immersing my children before I even see them physically. And I did that for my 1st child and my 2nd child. So if you're a single here, this is a very fantastic opportunity for you to be able to, the moment you have conceived, just tell your husband. If your husband is quite busy, do the work, mama. Do the work as mom to be, right? That can never be overemphasized. Now, when they eventually come out, statistics have shown that a lot of families don't even have family altars anymore. And that is one of the things that is affecting our homes, because the devil already, believers are already in his or her, jurisdiction. Bridget, please help with that, right? But then, for those of us that are Christians and we are well read, or if you believe in any other religion, because I don't want to take for granted that maybe all of us are Christians here. What did the scripture say? It says, when Adam and Eve sinned, says that he will do what? He will bite the heel and the man will bruise his head. So from that day, what we discover is that the devil is after godly seed. And one of the most important reasons why God has created godly families. Bridget, please help with this. Are you still the co-host? Okay, all right. So I'm going to do that right away. So like I was saying, the reason why God has actually made us, right? The reason why God has actually made us to come together, for husband and wife to come together to become is one of the most important reasons is because it wants us to raise godly seed. All right? So please, I don't want us to lose sight of that fact. So if you are someone, and then guess what? You don't have to, your devotions doesn't have to be in the morning. It doesn't have to be in the mornings. If it's in the evening, you can't hear me. I hope I'm audible. I guess I'm audible. Please, if you can hear me, please use the chat. All right. So as I was saying, your devotion doesn't have to be in the morning. So I remember there was a time, I had to, fantastic. Thank you. I remember there was a time we had to move our family devotion to the evening. Why? Because mornings, everybody was rushing out. And I discovered that during the mornings, the children were just sleeping off. But in the evenings, because it's not a routine, what we wanted for them to do is to develop spiritually. Are we getting it? I can't overemphasize. That's why I spent a lot of time. For physical development, so most of us know, we have to create space for them. Motor skills is the use of their full body. Motor skills is the use of their hands, their fine motor skills, and their gross motor skills. That's the use of their body. So right from when they are very small, we have to, even when they are grown, make sure that they interact, they go outdoors. Please, parents, the aspect of screen time is another thing that is like a war in the 21st century. So you have to be able to program the screen time for your children and make sure that their diet, their nutrition, right, their exercising, and their body movements, if they have any symptoms of sickness, it is very, very important that you don't overlook it. Please, it is very, very key. Health for children is not negotiable. Their immune system is just developing. So please, let's ensure that we take adequate care of their physical development. Then their cognitive development involves their mental processing, such as their learning, their memory, their problem solving, and language development. There's a general cliche that we say a lot of times that we should leave a better world for our children, right? If you have heard that saying before, can you type yes in the chat room? Everybody, I want to be sure I'm not just talking to myself. I want to be sure you are with me. Type yes. You have heard, let's leave a better world for our children. Let's leave a better world for our children. Let's leave a better world for our children. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Temi. Thank you, Bridget. Right? Thank you, Mrs. Peace. You have heard, let's leave a better world for our children. Right? How about we considering, let's leave better children for our let's leave better children for our world. If that thing hits you deeply, right, I want you to put in the chat box right now, Wellspring, or WSWSWS. If this statement resonates deeply with you, it is not enough for us to leave a better world for our children. It is more important for us to leave better children for our world. Amazing, fantastic. Can you imagine? It's only Ms. Okoye that typed it out. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Mr. David. Thank you, Esther. Thank you so much. Thank you, Amaka. All right. So that goes to say that it is very important that the cognitive development of our children is not just academic. It is not just educational. And just some of us are wondering, what is Dr. Toyin trying to achieve? As they begin to grow, we must have the vision for them to become creators of employment, for them to become creators of products and services. Am I saying they shouldn't work for anybody? No. What I'm saying is that even the period where they are working for somebody, we are intentional about developing the entrepreneurial mindset. Okay? The entrepreneur. So you can be in an organization, but you are still working like an entrepreneur. If you are in an organization and you are working as an entrepreneur, you are taking initiatives, you are being proactive, what do you think will happen to you? You are going to be in the top management because no business will see a very intentional, productive, efficient, effective person and not promote them. So when we are talking about cognitive development, you are very intentional, right? From when that child is in the preschool or kindergarten. So when the child is done learning the academics, you then begin to instill in that child the kind of mindset that will make the child not just an employee, but an employer of labor in the nearest future. So that even when they enter into the job market, they determine when they want to exit to start their own thing. If that is amazing, help me put an A in the chat room. If that resonates with you, put an A in the chat room. Now we go to emotional development. You see, this one is very critical. A lot of parents feel the moment I've provided for the physical needs of the child, you're good to go. If I have paid school fees, you're good to go. No. Emotion. That simply says that every human being is first a social being. I'm telling you, do you know a lot of us make decisions based on emotions? Let me tell you, a lot of us didn't even plan to be on this call. But because you felt that, Dr. Twain sent this link, and Dr. Twain always deliver value, you were here. If you are that person, type yes. Type yes, because I knew that we shared this link at some few last minutes and some people joined. Fantastic. That's just the truth. That is just the truth. Thank you so much, everyone. I can see you are with me. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Adebola. Ooh, Adebola from Osun State, Nigeria. Thank you, Temitokbe. Thank you, Mrs. Peace. Thank you, everybody. So the truth is, the emotional development of the child focuses on your ability to understand and manage emotions from relationships and foster a deep sense of identity. A lot of our children don't even know their identity because even some of us as adults, we are not yet developed emotionally. Remember how we said development is? Development does not have to do with age. It is qualitative. It's the quality of the person that you have become or that you are becoming. Now, let's look at social development. Unfortunately, we have built so much walls. I don't know about Cote d'Ivoire, but for those of us in Nigeria, but I think it should be the same in Cote d'Ivoire. A lot of us, we have built walls, physical and social walls in our community, you know, because we've had a lot of crises around pedophiles, around child safety, around child safeguarding, around child welfare, and all the things that are happening around us. So there is a strain. And even some families, though they stay in the same house, they are like what? Give me, somebody should borrow me a word. They are like just roommates. You know, when we're in university, that your roommates, day your day, I day my day. You come back, you just say hello, hello. Some families are like that. It will shock you. Because the moment everybody comes back, hello, hello, everybody just grab their tablets till the ferry. Housemates, thank you, Bridget. And then that's just it. So we must be very intentional in ensuring that our children are socially competent. Living members. I'm loving this. Thank you so much, Esther. Right? So we must be very intentional about the children's social interactions with the peers and their broader community. And how can you create a community? Look for other parents that have the same family values that you have. Befriend them so that your children can have interactions with other human beings. And you know what? This is very, very key because even for families that don't have the same values as yours, you can begin to teach them, right? That is why there's a reason why you are privileged to be on this call. Your capacity and your parental quotient is being improved. And it's not just about the conversation that I'm having with us this morning. It is also about what we do with the knowledge that we get from here going forward. So talking about building community, that is what I do. For years in my community, I gather teenagers together in my community on Sundays, yes, to share with them. That's the least I could do because I may not be able to reach the parents. But if I'm able to reach the teenagers within my community and share life skills, life understanding with them, they begin to influence their families, and their families are always very grateful for this, right? And then also talking about social development, let me shock you, right? In the workplace, it takes only 20 to 10% of your IQ to succeed in the workplace, in the 21st century workplace. It takes close to 80 to 90% of your social and emotional development for you to thrive.
Now, come, let's pray.
Everyone on this call, you must have had an experience where you got a contract, you got a job, you got a platform based on relationships, not based on what you know. If I have a witness in the house, can you please type true? True, true. Maybe the current place where you're working right now, as a result of your relationship with someone, somewhere, somehow, right? A contract, a relationship, even your marriage. Some of us, we got to meet our spouse through another friend. So you see how social skills that is missing. You can see how powerful, how intense social skill is. So we cannot afford to overlook it. We cannot afford, because man is not created for isolation. Man is created for interaction. So type isolation, type interaction rather. Man is not created for isolation. Man is created for interaction. That was why we experienced a lot of death cases during the COVID-19 period. Why? Because the fact that we were physically divided, even though technologically connected, it did not cut the show. Are we getting it? So I need to really, really hammer on this. Now, the behavioral development involves the establishment of behaviors, habits, and coping mechanisms. So behavioral discipline is another module entirely. I cannot even start talking about behavioral development here because we will not leave. You know, talking about discipline, consequences, and how to go about it. I can't even go through that because it's a whole lot. How you can connect to correct, how you can, because what exactly do we want? The outcome of what we want is a well-behaved child. Now, how to go about it is another thing. There's a place of punishment, which is usually destructive, and there's a place of discipline, which is usually constructive. So I can't even go that route because of our time, but maybe another time we'll come back here and discuss, you know, very effective disciplinary strategies. If Mrs. Okoye will want us to do that, right? But that is behavior, because if you know everything when it comes to academics and you are zero in character, you have only grown, you have not developed. And your behavior and your character is what people say about you genuinely when you are not there. Behavior also stems from the place of values. What are your values? As a parent, what are your own values? As a parent, what are your family values? All right. So it is very, very key that you don't overindulge, that we don't neglect, that we don't overlook and say that, because see, scripture says train up. The word train up is a continuum. And somebody says that parenting is an 18 years job. All right. Your report card is what you get once your child is 19. Whatever work you have done. So however old your child is now, minus their age from the remaining years that you have left. Are you getting the point? So you don't have all the time. If I'm going to use myself as an example, my daughter is 13. So that means I have 5 more years. Guys, I have 5 more years. My son, I have 8 more years to go. Oh my world. What does that tell me? I've done more than 50% of whatever I need to do. 50%, more than 50% gone. That's why I said, singles on this call, you are the most blessed. Because right from the fetus, you can start it. And some of us, our children are already above 18. So there's a place of moving from being a mother to moving to becoming a mentor and to be moving to becoming a matriarch. From 0 to 10, you are a mother, right? So a mother instructs, a mother guides, a mother intensively trains. Once you move from, the child moves from age 10, right, to age 18, you have become a mentor. If you are still trying to instruct that child will rebel. That's why a lot of us are having issues with our children, because we don't know that the seasons have changed. The seasons have changed. So you must be able to evolve your dynamics. And what it takes to be a mother is a different ballgame entirely. What it takes to be a mentor is a different ballgame entirely. And what it takes to be a matriarch is a different game entirely. Oh, time will not permit me. Moral and ethical developments. You see why, the reason why I had to separate behavior and moral and ethical development. Because this relates to the child's understanding of right and wrong, values and ethical decisions, what the child will do when you are not there. Because guess what? You are not always going to be there. Never. Never. You are not always going to be there. So we must also focus on moral and ethical development. In different situations, how will they make the decision? How will they make the decision based on values again? Talking about values education is another curriculum. Educational development pertains to the child's learning experience, academic progress, and intellectual growth, which is quite related to the cognitive. But it's a bit different. Educational is more academic, but the cognitive has to do with how the child develops problem-solving skills. How the child develops what? The right language. When I say language, I'm not talking about English or math. I'm talking about the right language in the right situation. When to keep quiet, when to talk. Right? What's the range of mentorship? I can't, you come for master class. I can't start answering them. I will try to answer them later. Please help me cultivate, help me note that question, Bridget. So let's look at different parenting styles. Overall, research shows that there are 5 parenting styles, right? The first one is authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, overprotective, and uninvolved parents. So let's take a look at what these different parenting styles look like, right? Let's take a quick look. So the first thing is authoritarian parents, they rarely explain the reasons for punishing or rules they impose on children. This parenting style is characterized by dominant and dictatorial parents. They have high demand and low responsiveness, strict rules and expectations, limited flexibility and less emphasis on reasoning. In other words, just do as I say. In other words, I don't even want to hear your part of the story. In other words, follow or die. I will show you Shaggy. Right? So this type of parents, they don't even involve their children in certain rules. You can see them shouting. And what can you see the children doing? Please, I need a response. What can you see the children doing in the picture? What do we see the parents doing? I mean, the children doing to their authoritative parents? With all the noise they are making and with all the shout they are shouting, what are the children doing in the picture? I need response. From the pictures, what kind of non-verbal responses? Fantastic. They're closing their ears. Somebody says they are proving stubborn. They say they are being rebellious, closing their ears while their parents are, they are not ready to listen. So this is the result of someone that is practicing that style of parenting, ignoring the parents, literally. I am not interested. So just keep your yelling and just keep your shouting. So at the end of the day, the parent's emotion, if it's a parent that has high BP, the BP will do what? We skyrocket. That's what an authoritarian parent is. So let's start. We have the authoritarian. Sorry, this is authoritarian. This is authoritative. It was a mistake. So authoritative parents respond, with high expectations for their children while they provide support, warmth, and interaction with them. When children fail, they will be more forgiving and wise. They have high demands and expectations. So don't think that the fact that they are supported, then they have clear rules with open communication. And when they are setting rules, they involve their children. All right? For this rule, what will be the consequence? The children will give you the consequence. And when the children are part of the rules setting, you will see that they are involved. Then they encourage independence with warmth and support. Now, before my story of parenting was I was actually raised by a single mom. I never got to know my mom until I was 10 because I was with my stepmom. From the time I was 2, my dad took me away from my mom, took me with him to my stepmom. Between the age of 2 and 10, I was with my stepmom. Between the age of 10 and 18, my dad returned me to my mom at the age of 10. I didn't see my dad between the age of 10 and 18. So 8 years, I didn't see my dad. I'm sure some people are like, wow, yes, I've not shared this story to a lot of people. So you may be hearing this for the first time, right? And then all of a sudden, over the years, my dad just resurfaced from nowhere. And my mom lost her mom that same year. So he came in. So of course, as a woman, my mom was very emotional and all of that. And they decided to come back together. But you know what? They hadn't grown. They hadn't learned. They weren't intentional about their growth. Their coming together again was based on emotions, and it did not last. And so my dad just moved these things out after, I think, about 2 or 3 years afterwards. Because by the time he came back, my mom was not the woman he used to know. My mom was a lot more independent. She started at school, started several businesses. We were the ones doing the meals, cooking. My dad expected her to still be cooking. My dad had retired, so she was the one literally like the breadwinner. And my dad couldn't take it again at the point, so he just packed his thing. Fast forward, I knew this was not the kind of life I wanted to live, and I knew this was not the kind of family I wanted to raise. So I started reading books on parenting. I think before I got married, I read almost 20 something books on parenting, right? So I because of the pain that I went through growing up, because I never had that parental guidance. Thank God for mentors, thank God for coaches. So I had my youth pastor, who was a man that stepped in at a point, and I'm forever grateful to him. Mr. Okwemi Ojeshino, I'm still in touch with him, and he's so proud of who I have become today. But guess what? It could have been the other way. Something else could have happened. So I made up my mind that I was going to ensure that I was going to be there for my children. I made up my mind I was going to learn, because my parents never modeled what parenting should be. And so that's what I'm saying. So whatever parental background that we came from, we have to learn parenting skills, because oftentimes what we were exposed to was not it at all. And if you are going to go by that way, if you're going to parent the way we were parented, it's going to be, except if you had a positive background. But even at that, things have changed, times have changed, so you have to be updated. So it's important that we are all authoritative parents, not authoritarian, right? Because we need to be able to encourage independence and warmth and support and buy-in. So we have another type of parents, which I'm not going to emphasize so much on. They are what we call the permissive parents. These are the parents that anyone goes. How many of us have heard, be your children's friend? Type in the chat room. Be your children's friends. Be their friends. How many of us have heard people say that? Even speakers said it. Be your children's friends. Just raise up your hand in the chat room. You have heard it, yes. Esther, okay? Who else have heard? Be your children's friends. So you have to be their friends. Be your children's friends. It's only 2 people that have heard it. Okay. Adebola, let me bust your bubble. Don't be your children's friends. Be their parents. Use friendship as a tool. Did you get it? use friendship as a tool, but don't be their friends. Be their parents, but use friendship as a tool. Did you hear me? Say I hear if you hear. Say I hear in the chat box. Say I hear. Use use friendship as a tool, but do not be your children's friends. Go and have your own friends. This one say I hear kakaraka. Go and have your friends. Let them have their friends. Thank you, Mrs. Biodu. Thank you, Ayo. Thank you. Yes, use friendship as a tool. So that's the problem quite of number of some people do have, because they've even heard some very professional people say, be your children's friends. Don't be their friends. Just use friendship as a tool. All right? Just use friendship as a tool, because in the bit of you trying to be your children's friends, you then want to become very permissive, very loving, so much so that no boundaries, no guiding, no training up. So your children do not mature in behavior. Remember what we said about ethical development. Their decision-making will be poor. Don't regard them as friends, but rather tell them that you are their parents, but use friendship as a tool. You can see these parents just smiling. We don't even know who is the mother. We don't know who is the daughter. Low demands and high responsiveness. Few rules and lenience, boundaries, no boundaries, indulgence, no structure. And then when the child goes haywire, they will now say, but I'm also his friend. I'm also a friend. Overprotective parents. These are also called helicopter parents. Why? They are everywhere. Hey, they are the ones that will almost follow their children to the toilet. These are the kind of parents that their children want to write exams. They will go and look for expo for them. These are parents that nothing must happen. Have you also heard the saying, I don't want my children to suffer what I've suffered? Oh yeah? Type in the chat room if you have heard. Yes. I don't want my children to suffer what I suffered doing. Type yes in the chat room. Today we are breaking tables. I don't want to suffer what I don't want my children to suffer what I suffered. Oh my God. Samalaga said plenty. Yes, but I do with sense. Crazy statement. They can't also have everything. Yes, absolutely. And do you know what? Did you know that some of the things that we suffered is who have made us who we have become today? Even our Father, Lord Jesus Christ, says that in this world, also we pay. Sorry for those that don't understand you, but in this world you will have tribulations. If it is written in the Bible that in this world you are now, that is why any little thing, children of nowadays, like a comedian said, they open the fridge, there's no milk, there's no butter. They will say, I want to commit suicide. If that's quite funny to you, please put the laughing emoji there. Yes, because we don't even want them to go through anything. So that comedian said that children of nowadays, they open the fridge, there's no milk, there's no butter. They say, if their boss just talks to them at work, they will say, it's affecting my mental health. And then they resign and leave the next day. So we are not building resilient children. We are not building children. Let me shock you. My daughter attends a very highbrow school. And right from her GS1, we are taking her through the route on how she's going to walk back from home and everything. When we told the school thought that we were mad, because she was the only student in that entire school that walks home all by herself. Now, we didn't throw her to the winds. Like I said, I'd walked through that path. I've told her how to be street smart, because in this place of insecurity that your children have to be street smart, you are not always going to be there. So you cannot afford to be overprotective. Okay? Okay? Yes. We cannot afford to be overprotective. We have to make sure that these children are also growing up, making decisions. Are we going to still give them spouses to marry? Are we going to still go to, so they don't have to make critical decisions for their lives? And guess what? If Christ tarries, every parent's desire is that you go before your children. So when you are gone, what happens? What happens? So we had to write plenty undertakings for the school. Hey, that their house is not there, that we are the ones that made the decision. And that was 3 years ago. Right now, my daughter is in GS3. She's still walking back home to Gloria. Okay, so let's move on. We also have another set of parents, which is on the very extreme side. This type of parents, like we said, if we start from where we were looking at the various parenting styles, okay, we have the authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, overprotective, and uninvolved parenting. Now, this is another very, very parenting that is taking place in our world. Parents that will live, you know, with almost no expectation from their children. They also, you know, are responsive and rarely communicate with the child. Now, sorry that this picture was used. This was the best expression. Sometimes it could be the father that is totally unresponsive. Sometimes it could be the mother that is totally involved. Sometimes it could be both the father and mother. In such cases, those children are like orphans. Right? There is minimal involvement in the child's life. There is little or no emotional support and guidance. So fathers that just pay school fees and pays for the money and like, well, every other thing you're on their own, you're on your own. And we have mothers too. Yes, I've heard about women that did not breastfeed their children. Why? They don't want their breast to drop. And so it's the nanny and the drivers, you know, that just take, you know, this is usually very common among the elites. But at the same time, we also have some poor people that still do it. You know, you will have seen people, some women in the market, they sell things in the market, but they don't even know where their children is in the market. So the children will go all day. And then in the evening, when they are going home, that's when they'll start looking for the children. Where did this child go now? So the whole day, while you were in the market, the parents is not even, you know. So this is also a very painful scenario and a very painful situation. So in other words, the environment parents the children, nannies, all manner of people, and then the child is left unprotected. Such parents should be thrown into the prison. That's my own suggestion. So, people, those are the parenting styles. So finally, let's look at the list of 20, you know, this is the last part of the training, and then we'll be wrapping up. The 21st century parenting skills. Now, I'm going to say something, and I want all of us to type it in the chat box. Parenting is about you and not about your child. Quickly. You say parenting is about me and not my child. Let's do that quickly. Parenting is about me and not my child. 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 Why? This statement, I wanted us to, because the child is not the parent. You are the one bearing the title of a parent. And so if you don't have the skills to parent, there's a big problem. And you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you are not equipped as a parent, please, you are my ambassadors. You are going to go all out. And let parents know that parenting is not for the lily-livered. Parenting is for people that are ready to do the work. So the first thing, and I intentionally put this here, that aside from being spiritually, you know, that one we know is a constant, is inevitable. But when it comes to skills, as to parents now, the first thing is digital literacy. You know why? Because in the 21st century, the children that we are giving birth to, they are technology and digital natives. We are digital migrants. So you have to be familiar. You have to know what is happening. You think that the only social media is Facebook, Instagram, oh, you are gone. Have you heard about Discord? It's a social media. They have left all those ones that are popular. They've left it for you. They've migrated. Have you heard about Discord? How many of us have heard about the Discord, the platform on Discord? If you have heard, say yes. If you have not heard about it before, say no. A lot of us have not. Mrs. It's only to be talked about. Discord. It's only one person so far from this. You see that, in fact, Mrs. Peace, they are going to pay. They are all going to pay. So you have to be on point. You have to know what is happening. If you are not digital, and it's not just even about the social media, you have to know about children's safety online. You have to know about being able to be digitally responsive citizens. You have to let them know. Are they fighting there? That's not the topic for today, but I'm just letting you know what is happening. That I'm letting you to know that I know what's up. Are you getting me? So I've even actually taken my children through a course that was created by Google on digital citizenship. They've done it, so they know already. And the course is free. I can't remember where the link is now, so I'm not promising. The course is free. Let the children take that course, and they will know what to post and not to post, how to post, who to friend and not befriend. I'm talking about my daughter did it when she was 10. My son too did it when he was 10. So it is not when they start handling phone or when they start signing up. So that's when you start running LTAC skills. Are we getting it? Right from age 7, 8, 9, 10, they should have done that course and become digital citizenship savvy. Communication skills. How do we communicate? The 4 areas of communication: listening, talking, reading, writing. When your children is talking, please stop every single thing you are doing and listen to them. Because if you don't listen to them, people that are waiting to listen to them outside, they are there. Communities. Mrs. Esther is here. Me and her, we're still having some conversation. Lesbians, gay, transgender, queer, all manner, all sorts. People that are into drug addiction, people that are into all forms of societal menaces. They are there waiting to listen to them. And if all you do is be judgmental, like you can see there, they are not listening. So even when you are talking and shouting, if you can't express empathy, if you cannot love them unconditionally, please don't. If you are not ready to love that creature, irrespective of whether he or she meets up to your expectation after doing it all, please don't do that thing that husband and wife used to do. Wait until you learn. And you must be able to have open and honest conversations. Let me shock you. My daughter was not here this yesterday morning. I was still asking how far with our crushes, and she said they are fine. Can you even initiate that kind of conversation with your child to ask about their crushes? How did I even know in the first place if I didn't use friendship as a tool that she has crushes, which is normal. All of us did when we were in school. So stop pretending. Stop looking at me and see what am I doing. Right from when they were in primary school, we started discussing about crushes. Every term, every sessions, I always know the new crushes of my children. Because I had to use the power of communication. And when the crush goes and I'm like, oh, so what happened? There was a time, one of my daughter's crush, she actually, somebody had a birthday party, and then my daughter gave her crush a party pack or something like that. And the crush now went to give it to somebody else. And that ended that crush. Because my daughter said, how can he? I deprived myself of having that party pack and he gave it to somebody else. Crushes, yes, Ayo. As primary school, that is happening now. My son's crush, I have told my assistant this before. What did she do? She actually wrote a letter to another guy in another class, a more senior class, and gave my son to deliver the letter. So my son, as a sharp guy, opened the letter along the way and read. If this story is funny to you, please give me the laugh emoji. My son opened the letter and read on his way to deliver the message. So what did you think my son did? My son did. Tore the paper, and that ended the crush. So please, guys, not to laugh. Oh my God, yes. And he came more very annoyed. He was like, Mommy, I'm not mentioning names here so that you're not going to be tasting my children's secrets. This is our secret, though. But because I'm being vulnerable, guys. I'm being vulnerable. Smart boy. But how could I have known this gist people just are going on behind your back. You are not communicating with your children. Things are going on behind your back that you don't know. So another skill you need to have is adaptability, the ability to adapt to changing circumstances and embrace new parenting approaches. Societal norms evolve is crucial, just like we are having here this morning. Then empathy, understanding and sharing the feelings of your children. So when they have disappointment from their crushes, my hands are wide open to say, hey, home is where there is peace. Home is where there is love. Home is where you can find unconditional love, right? And Bridget is here. Every time she's always saying, even when I don't teach, what I model with my children is super amazing for her. And she sees that being able to parent excellently in the 21st century is possible. Critical thinking encourages children to think critically, analyze information, and make informed decisions is a valuable skill in navigating the complex world they are growing up in. But the question I'm asking you guys, you know, I'm saying all the stories based from my own perspective as a parent. Is that, do you have the skills? Do you have the skills? That's the question. Cultural competence. Are you able to recognize and respect people's different, you know, cultures? In Nigeria alone, we have over 300 and something plus cultures. Right? I've been a very cultural competence person. I'm Yoruba and I'm married Igbo. I'm married from the West. I'm a Western Nigerian, and I'm married from the Eastern part. And I was able to break every barrier that my parents were going to bring up. And successfully, I've been married for 14 years. Right? So how cultural competent are you? Do you still have prejudice and bias? Resilience building. You as a parent, how much resilience do you have? How do you do when you experience, you know, failure, setback, and stress? I remember there was a time my children always tell me that, Mommy, you are very excellent. You don't make mistakes. So I intentionally share with them my failure stories. I intentionally tell them, oh, this is what happened to me today. When I was very ill, I didn't cover it up. I told them, bad things happen to good people, even though we don't pray for it. And that's just the truth. So when I was very ill, they took up the responsibility. They knew that, oh, Mommy is not always like this. If this must have happened. So whether we like it or not, I was able to build resilience in them at that period of time. Time management. How are you managing your time? So I always say that, yes, we don't have all the time in the world. But do you know that you can even be, I should be speaking even now, takiri. You know, but you know, I always say that even a full-time, what do they call it now? A full-time mother or a full-time housewife, do you know that they can actually not have a relationship with their children? It's not about the quality of, it's not about the quantity of the time, it's about the quality. So quality time. We have bonding tools that we engage in every evening as a family. Last week, Friday, so some people think that, oh, Dr. Tay is always very busy. I'm busy doing the right thing. Last week, Friday, I played chess and Jenga with my son. I won him in Jenga. He won me in chess. And it's fine. All what I'm trying to do is to have that quality time. Positive discipline. This is very important. Setting clear expectation. Using you know, good discipline methods to teach rather than rush important aspects of modern parenting or punish just anyhow. All these are very, very critical, like I said. Please, if you have questions, let's start dropping them because I'm almost done. Financial literacy. How are you instilling financial literacy, such as budgeting, saving, and helping children, you know, to have responsible attitude towards money? So part of what we also do for our children is to give them opportunity to make money. They know that the chores in the house is normal, but when you do something extra, so for example, if you take time to wash daddy's car, you get paid. If you take the initiative to do some things in the house, you get paid. Wow, we are letting them to know that money is an exchange of value. Let me shock you. Mrs. Peace is just hearing this. How many of us saw the poster of this program? Can we show by a raise of hand in the chat session? How many of us saw the flyer, the poster of this program? How many of us saw it? If you did not see it, please go back and check it. Go back and check it later on. Guess what? That very day, you did not, okay, you need to go and see it. Wherever where you are. That very day, the person that was supposed to do the design was not available. And I promised Mommy Peace that we are going to get that design ready. It was my 13-year-old daughter that designed that design. And I paid her. Yes. Yes. it was my 13-year-old daughter. Yes, yes, yes. And I paid her. Yes, 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 absolutely. Absolutely. So do you think do you think such a girl will be doing I beg to apply up and down? To Fiakwa? They won't. In fact, they always tell me, mommy, you are always very busy and you still have time for us. It's the type of work that I want to do when I grow up. Because their dad also is an entrepreneur. And we do not lack, to the glory of God. At least we have left the stage of looking out for what to eat and drink, and we become blessing to others. So any money we have now is for transgenerational blessing and it's for others. So I'm saying that to let you know that they are watching. And how intentional are you? Okay, media literacy, okay, also has to do with, helping children to know that it's not everything that is being placed online. It's true. It's as simple as that. And how can they actually get the right information, sift out the right information in the midst of so much information available in the internet space? Mindfulness and well-being, right? It's very important that you make them have adequate sleep. It is recommended that children have between 7 to 9 hours of sleep, adults 7 hours. Let them have their naps. Sometimes you may want to force them to do it because it's good for their mental health, their emotional well-being. We have a lot of hugs and pecks as a family. In fact, including their father, all of them, I hug them before they leave. Because God forbid any bad thing, that could be the last peck and the last hug they may have from you. Anything can happen. So please, when you get back home today, make sure you do the needful. Collaboration and teamwork. How do you make them to work collaborative in various aspects of their lives? Global awareness. Now the world is a global village. How do you help them to build a stronger sense of responsibility? If you have money, take them, let them go to your village at least. Let them travel. Traveling is one of the best forms of education because what you will learn by traveling, one trip, it may take you 50 books, learn the same skill. Self-care. How you take care of yourself will also determine how your children will prioritize their physical and mental health. How much of problems do you solve? How are you involved in children's education? Now, being involved also doesn't mean that you should now become over-involved. Once your children have finished primary school, please, from secondary school, they must be able to begin to learn on their own. In fact, once they get to year 6, I stop checking their homework. I stop checking their assignments. I stop monitoring whether they have done their own work or not. And when they face the consequences, please don't be, what do they call them? Parents that bail out their children at every little instance. Let them suffer the consequences so that it will be imprinted in them. And next time they learn. It has been said that God whispers to us in our triumphs, but he shouts to us in our problems. We are able to hear him more loudly when we go through challenges. So don't become an over-involved parent and at the same time an under-involved parent, and not just in their education, but in every area of their life. How are you regulating your own emotions? Are you emotionally intelligent as a parent? If you are not, we have a course on that. We can take you through them. Technology boundaries, the use of technology and screen time. You must guide them. All right, very important. Environmental consciousness. Ensuring that they are environmentally responsible. When you finish eating biscuits or sweets or anything, are you the parent that will drop it on the floor? Or you keep the wrapper in your bag and when you get home, you dispose adequately? If you are doing that as a parent, if you don't have environmental consciousness, then what are we talking about? Then lifelong modeling. Let them know that learning is lifelong. It is essential. That is the way they should live and model it. Model it. Let them see you reading. I've never had to tell my children, go and pick your books. For what now? Because they always see me read. Okay? So in conclusion, parenting in the 21st century presents a unique set of challenges and opportunities. Navigating the digital age, fostering emotional intelligence, and promoting a balanced approach to success are key considerations. As parents, adapting to change, staying involved in our children's lives, and emphasizing empathy and resilience are essential for guiding the next generation towards a bright and fulfilling future. So we've been able to look at the definition of parenting. We took a critical look at having some introduction conversation. We spoke about the 5 parenting styles. We emphasized the fact that parenting is about you and not your child. and we're able to share about 21 21st century parenting skills. And we have concluded. So that's been our summary. And then your questions, let them start coming in so that we can then begin to wrap up. So whilst we are waiting for other questions, for those in Cote d'Ivoire, there is this program organized by a group of people that's called Chastity Day towards the February 14th event, but it's going to be taking place February 10th, where we want to encourage children to be as chaste as possible. It's something that we need to encourage. You can be trendy and still chaste, right? You don't have to expose different parts of your body. For those of us that are in Nigeria, we'll join you in the spirit. It's taking place 11th of February at the National Theatre. Oh, okay, it's Lagos actually. Oh, wow, I never knew. Okay, sorry about that. I thought it was Cote d'Ivoire all this while. Okay, so please, we can invite, we're going to share this flyer as well on our social media handles when it's getting closer to that. And so we can invite people that we know to be a part of it. Okay, so that will be it from me. And please, let's connect on social media handles. This is my contact number. If you would want to take some of our other courses, like I've been announced as Mrs. Pisa said. So I'm going to, you can take a screenshot of this last slide whilst I stop sharing, and then we'll take questions, contributions, and then, of course, Mrs. Peace will also be mentioning some very important, it's going to be, okay. So, ma'am, I got your message. Kindly unmute your mic, over to you. Please, let's start dropping our questions. Once she's done saying one or two things, I will go and answer our questions. Mommy Peace, this is our host, though. This is the person you're going to say thank you to. She just invited me as a guest. So if you've had a great time, please tell Mrs. Peace Okoye, appreciate her in the chat room. It's not easy to bring me here. She paid in hundreds of thousands, sincerely, for this thing you're getting free. Like somebody says, salvation is free, but Jesus paid for it. This program is free, but she paid for it. It's free for you, but she paid for it, right? So, please, let's say a very big thank you to her in the chat room. I can't see our messages. Please, that's the least you can say. She's been a super, super amazing mentee of mine. Please unmute your mic, ma'am. While I try to see. Your mic is still muted, Mrs. Peace. Okay, so we have a question from Adebola Olubumi, and she was saying, what is the age range for mentorship? The age range for mentorship that I mentioned is between 10 and 18 years of age. So if your children falls into that part, you have to take the role of a mentor. Okay, and what does a mentor do? So uses relationships to drive its own. All right. Over to you, Mrs. Peace. Thank you. You can speak now, ma. People are saying thank you in the chat box.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving us this wonderful time. We appreciate so much. And of a truth, I personally added to what I knew before. So,
yeah,
very, very happy, especially you said we should not say our children. I never knew it's not a good thing. I thank God for it, and also be their parents. Wow, many people are making that mistake because you think that being their friend will make them to open up to you and tell you whatever they know or see you at their own level. Today, I I found out that it's not good. We should not do that. So I'm so grateful, and I pray that others have also learned one or two things that will help them to make sure that we put our children on the right track.
Absolutely.
So we are very, very happy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So what will make your children tell you things are playing around them is the power of your communication skills. The fact that you are their friend does not automatically, or because you want to be their friend, does not automatically means they will tell you. But before anything happened, whether positive or negative, how have you been communicating with them? So, for example, when my children ask me any question, I know I am accountable, and I tell them. Before I leave the house, they say, "Mommy, where are you going? Why are you going there?" They would ask me. So I won't say, "Go and sit down." I would tell them, because I expect that if I ask them the same question, they should be able to tell me. Are we getting it? So using friendship as a tool has its place, right? But if you really want to know what is happening in your children's life, you have to improve your day-to-day communication with them. Okay? So that is very important. So somebody says, "My grandma gave me abortion pills," a statement from a GS2 student. So you can imagine that, right? You can imagine that, okay? So somebody says, "Anma, please, how can one use friendship as a tool and not cross the line?" Yes. So the first thing you need to understand is, what exactly is friendship? Right? What exactly is friendship? Or who is a friend? Okay? So let's just quickly do that, so that will give us insight. Who is a friend? Because when we say use friendship as a tool, we are very intentional, right? Because God has made you to be a parent to your children, not their friends. And that's why you must have your friend, because if they are the only friends you have, when they go to their husband's house now, you now pack your load and go and join them because they are your friends. Or when they go to their husband's house, they now have to start running back to you because you are their friend. You see, so that statement is very faulty. It says a friend is someone whom you share a bond of mutual affection, trust, and support. Friends provide companionship, understanding, and often contribute positively to each other's lives. Can you see that? So you must know when you need to use friendship as a tool, and you must know when to be able to wear the hat or the cap of the parent. And remember, I said you are actively a mother or a father in the first 10 years. So what that implies that in the first 10 years is when you are actively parenting and selling your values, your ideas, selling your ideals of who they must become. Between 10 and 18 is when you then begin to actively use friendship as a tool. Don't start using friendship as a tool between when they are still 1 to 10. But be a parent, be a caring. Remember what we said about who a parent is. Be someone that is caring, be someone that is supportive. But you have the overall, objective of raising a responsible and productive adult. Right? So once they are 10 to 11, you then begin to mentor. So a mentor does not instruct. A mentor guides. Right? A mentor shares opinion and listens. When you're in a mentor relationship, if all your mentor is doing is telling you what to do, that's not mentoring relationship. That person is your teacher or your trainer. In a mentor relationship, both parties are actively participating. So when you are still a parent, you are the one doing most of the participation. Why? The child really knows little or nothing. The child is naive. But the moment a child is 10, there's so much the child has learned that has gotten into the child's subconsciousness, such that you then begin to ask for their opinion and learn how to negotiate and then learn how to insist empathetically. The moment the child is 18, so put your law. The only thing you can just be doing is just to be saying, oh, okay, and then begin to pray for them actively. Because there's really little nothing or nothing. But if you have built the relationship over time, you can both reason together, right? So I think I've been able to answer that question. Mrs. Esther, please let me know if I've been able to answer that question satisfactorily.
Please, I want you to throw more light on this point. Parenting is all about me and not my child.
Yes.
Please, can you help me? Parenting is all about me and not my child.
Yes. Parenting is all about you and not the child. You know why? Number one, it is you that God has entrusted that child into. It is into your hands God has entrusted that child into. Because you know that as a parent, you don't own any child. You don't own any child. God is the only one that can own a human being. You are just a caretaker. And you know what? The first set of people you are going to give account for, you know, God says we are going to give account. The first person you're going to give account for is your children. You won't even give account for your husband or wife. You know why? They are adults. And by the time you met them, they are what? They are formed. And that's why the Bible says that what? Let every man run his race. Because every man, it didn't say every child. It said every man will give an account. But as a parent, you give an account for that child. The sole responsibility of parenting is on you. And that's why the first 10 years, you cannot afford to go. Are you getting me, ma? Somebody is hailing you here. Say, thank you, my able boss, Madam Peace. So parenting is about you and not the child, because your work is to raise that child. Your work is to train that child. So the question is, do you have what it takes to parent? If you don't have what it takes to parent, you need to go and get it, because parenting is a skill. It will not fall on you like ripe potato. Everybody has the capacity, right, to give birth, but not everybody has the capacity to parent. And not even everybody has the capacity to give birth, because some people, you know, they're still waiting on God's to give birth. But biologically, it's more easier to just do the thing. Don't to pikin. And then the parenting is where the job, the real job, really, really starts. So you as the parent must be the one to know what you are expected to do per time, how you are expected to go about it, and what is expected of you to raise a responsible and productive adult. The goal is the adult, that child will come at the end of the day. And nobody else has been given that responsibility except you as the parent. Not the church, not the school, because now a lot of parents will say, I've paid school fees. Let me shock you. The highest a child can spend with a school is 16 years. So even if you put the child in nursery to SS3, sure, the child will not graduate. After the 16 years, is your child the school property or your own property? Is the child going to follow the school owner? Or is it the school owner? Are we getting it? So after the child even goes to university after 4 years and comes back to your house by age 20. Oh yeah now. Oh yeah now. Now, and by that time, that child is either a responsible or irresponsible. That child is either a productive or a non-productive adult. So what are we talking about? And you know the beautiful thing about this, like parenting is like planting. It's the job that you don't get to see the reward immediately. It's a job that you labor in the dark for years. And then later on, the results begin to show. And that is why on the day of the celebration of our children, none of us will be found wanting. None of us will be found wanting. Because if you do this job well, my people, if you do this job, forget that Dr. Toyin is busy, she's everywhere. I don't joke. I don't joke with parenting. I don't. When my children have stuff in school, no matter how much you want to pay me, I will give you back your money. If we cannot shift that date, I'll give you back your money. I'm that intentional. To be their number one cheerleader. Because if you're not there, some other people are waiting to be there for them. And when they are there for them, not you, you know what the results will be. Because nobody can love your child like the kind of love that God has put in your heart for them. Nobody. Nobody. I repeat, nobody. So I hope we are good. I hope we are good.
I want you to add more. That's put more light on this. Now, this time, what parents are after their work, their business, and many things are happening to children. Because in this place, just last year, we recorded the way children are just dying. And, I want you to kind of, if there is a way you can talk to us, why we must not play with the health of our children. Thank you.
All right, Ma. Thank you very much. Yes. So somebody says that you can parent without having a child. Absolutely. You can parent without having a child, but, it's called pseudo-parenting, and it can never be like, right? Can never be like when the real parent is parenting the child. So I totally agree. Now, to your point, Mrs. Pierce, talking about, parents taking care of the health of their children. I don't know what else responsibility, or I don't know what else is most important in this world than we ensuring that our children are healthy. And health spans across every area of life. Like we've spoken categorically about the different areas of growth and development that we as parents must pay critical attention to. Right? Like I said, we will give accounts on, the lives of these children. And one of the greatest things that we can do is being very sensitive to their health. Okay? Now, my son is asthmatic, right? And, asthmatic patients do have attacks. And so whenever this happens, my assistant is here. I cancel my whole schedule for the day. So some of us may say, oh, we're not in a position whereby we run our own businesses and all. Maybe this is the time for us to start considering discovering ourselves, knowing what exactly our life is all about, so that we can have the time to be able to raise our children the way we would love to. I empathize with such parents because of the truth. Sometimes while trying to get financial, support for the family, what you discover is, Bridget, are you still a co-host? Please help me work on that. So I understand that sometimes while we're trying to make ends meet, support our spouses and all of that, we have issues with having to give adequate attention. And I'm saying this not just for women. A parent is a parent. If it's your wife that is very busy, hello, sirs, hello, dads on the call, please step in. Right? Please step in. Like I always say, parenting is not the job of only the mother. Please, it's not. It's not. And if you are going to be unavoidably absent, can you seek for help? Can you ask for help for someone to take care of that child? whilst you are very busy. And once you are done with your so-called business for the day, you take it on. So sincerely, we don't have any excuse. Yes, though we may have tried all our best, but let your conscience be able to tell you that you have tried all your best. And then maybe the child still eventually goes to meet our God in heaven. But let it be that you have tried your best, right? Let it not be that it is due to your negligence or, you're not being available. Because I don't think any parent in their right senses will want to watch their child die, right? And that's why I said I empathize, but due to circumstances beyond your control. But when it comes to parenting, if it will take you, my brethren, I'm so passionate. If it will take you to even lose that job on the interim for you to save that child, please do it. Because you never can tell who that child will become in the future. You never can tell, because somebody says that when God wants to solve the problems in our world, he gives us children. Isn't that amazing? Imagine if I wasn't born. Can we imagine it? Imagine if you weren't born. Imagine if for one reason or the other, you didn't survive your childhood. You would have been given an opportunity to live a life of significance. You would have been given an opportunity to touch as many people across the world that you touch today. You would have been given an opportunity to love and be loved. All right. So I think with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you, right? I can see some things on the chat. So somebody is asking a question, right, around, where you have drawn virtue out of me. So how can I advise a mother that noticed that her husband has been playing with her first daughter? So this is a situation of incest. It's a very tough call. It's a very tough one. And if you are not a professional counselor, you're going to find it very difficult. But first of all, the woman must be ready mentally, psychologically, and emotionally to be helped, right? Because the way it is in our African culture, we want to keep our family secrets, even though if it is killing our enemy, we still want to keep it secret. So the woman must first of all be able to accept that she needs help. That's number one. Number two, I would advise you refer her to a professional counselor, except if you are one. I don't know if you're one. Person asking this question. Refer her to a professional counselor. In Lagos, the truth is that we have the Center for Domestic Violence, against women and children, but I don't know if it's present in your state or in your country. They have helplines that you can call, right, for them to step in. But if you don't have it around you, that's another issue. So don't just go and just go and so for you to have this question, that means maybe the woman has confided in you, which shows a glimpse of hope. Because where will the daughter stay? The daughter will continue to live in that house. She can't fend for herself. And she's been destroyed. She's been traumatized. Your own biological father, what is happening? For you to have asked, yes, we know it's happening. So you may want to really, 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 because if somebody does not raise his or her hands up to say, I need help, if you are just trying to raise the person's hand, why are you using Panadol for another person's head? It's a very tough one. But if the person is ready for help, you want to seek a professional counselor, because the truth is that they will have to imprison that man. That's what the law says. Another thing is she ready to have her husband in prison to save her daughter? So it's a very critical one. So that's all I can say about it. But if we have other people that have more deeper. I don't know it all, people. If you have other people that have deeper understanding or deeper ideas, you may want to engage in the chat box. But sincerely, I don't know it all. Yeah, Mr. Malaka says, Dr. Toyin, thanks for the balance. Yeah. When the mother is not available, please, daddy's on the call. I sincerely appreciate daddies are on this call, really. Please step in. Okay, this person says, thanks also, Madam Facilitator, for this unique impartation. Okay, Mr. Paul from Fountain School, Abidjan. Great to have you on the call. So I guess we are good. We've actually spent 1 hour and 50 minutes on this call.
Ma, please, I know your time is almost over, please. I found out that since now, last year, we had a lot of parents that divorced. A lot. Parents that you now find out they are no more together. Even this last week, we resumed. Another information came, another woman says she's leaving. The husband decided to take the children back to Nigeria. Please, what advice can you give to parents that are here? The divorce rate is just too high. And it's affecting the children. You see a child that has been so good, intelligent in class. Before you know it, that child is dropping, and you find out that it's problem from the home. What can we do, please? And advice.
Okay, first of all, disclaimer, I am not a certified relationship or marriage coach. So I'm just going to answer to the best of my understanding. So I know where my jurisdiction is. And like I said, I'm very passionate about parenting, maybe because what I do, centers a lot around children. So that made me to become very intentional about parenting, and also because of my own childhood experience, right? So when it comes to marriage, like I used to say, I don't have expertise in marriage. But what I can just say is, there's a lot of factors, especially because you are in Abidjan and we have, so when people also leave their immediate location of birth, so I'm aware that there are a lot of Nigerians in Abidjan as well. Number one, that's another factor on its own, living there. So when couples are relocating, they have to make up their minds what they are looking at, what is their why for relocating. And then when they find themselves in a place where it's not originally their places of birth, it requires another higher level of being intentional about their relationships, such that they have an understanding of. So one of the things, like, I love what you're doing in Côte d'Ivoire, Mrs. Peace. I love the fact that you really want to address it right from the very beginning with your initiative around premarital counseling. So a lot of people go into marriage not knowing that marriage is a lot of work. People on the call, marriage is not enough to sustain, love is not enough to sustain any marriage. You can quote me anywhere. It requires commitment. It requires sacrifice. And when I say love, I mean the Eros type of love. The kind of love that can sustain a family is the agape love. The love that is unconditional, the love that is, I mean, if we go to 1 Corinthians and chapter, that scripture, every time that I read it, I'm just in awe. Because if you look at that scripture, you will shiver, you will reconsider marriage if you are someone that have had to understand what that scripture is saying. And I'm going to be reading from, the Message translation. And if you have not loved, for those of us that are already married, if you have not loved your spouse to that level, you still have a lot of work to do, right? So I'm reading the Message translation so that the words can jump at us, okay? It says, love never gives up. So love does not even consider divorce. That's the kind of love that God is talking about. Love cares for others more than themselves. Are you ready to care for your spouse more than yourself? Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Are you comparing your marriage to say, can't you see so and so? This is the way so and so is treating his wife, or this is the way so and so is treating her husband? Are we getting it? Love doesn't strut. It doesn't show off. That's the meaning of strut. It doesn't say I'm more wealthier than my husband. Love doesn't have a swell head. Love doesn't force itself on others. It isn't always me first. Doesn't fly off the handle. Doesn't keep scores of the sins of others. Doesn't ravel when others grovel. Takes pleasure in flowering the truth. Puts up with everything. Oh my God. Trust God always. Always looks for the best. Never looks back, but keeps on going to the end. He says, love never dies. Can you beat that? So this is the only kind of love that can sustain marriage. Oh, it's not the one that will do you giz. So you may want to really reconsider and say, am I really? So when you say I'm in love with you, you have to think about that thing I'm talking about again and again. Because this is deep. Okay, this is very, very deep. And this is what, if my daughter brings the man, and I will put the two of them to sit down and read the scripture to them and say, you see, you people say you want to marry. Listen, no, I don't want to. So, there's a lot of factors. But on the interim, what you may want to do is get them a professional to help them address the issues. And usually when it comes to marital issues, there's a lot that has been going on that both of them have been, trying to cope with. You get it? So it's usually a time bomb that would explode. So they've been putting the bomb powder over time. All right? So oftentimes it's better for us to be proactive than reactive. Reactive is giving advice. When people have made up their mind to divorce, that time, Mrs. Peace, the thing don't reach, it don't reach some level. So I think what you want to do towards starting with premarital counseling and, helping couples to really know what to do before they get into it, it's a better way of going around it. But here we have professional relationship coaches, professional relationship mentors, professional relationship counselors, or what have you, family systems engineers that actually can do that. So, but if you are not really certified and you get your hands involved, you may get your hands burnt. And at the end of the day, the result may not be as you preempt because you are not equipped. You are not equipped. You are not equipped. So Evangelist David, please help us with the vote of thanks. We are done for the day. Thank you so much for having me, everyone.
Please, my husband is greeting you.
Hello, Daddy. Let Daddy talk to us now. Let Daddy give us vote of thanks. Let's give him the honor to give us vote of thanks. Daddy, please.
Daddy, call that.
Okay, so let me just. Wow. Wow. Daddy, we are honored to have you on the call. So that's Jesus Christ. Osheo. Not yet, try.
This program. I'm personally, I learned a lot, and I share with you on many areas you talk about life, talenting. So I believe that everybody also got as the package, many packages that I got also. So I pray that God will continue to bless you, continue to
Amen.
use you as
Amen.
a talent in our own time, in our own generation.
Amen.
And all the people that we get from
Mm. Oh, can we all hear me? So I think the network issues is from, if you can hear me, please type in the chat room. Let's be sure that maybe the network is from them over there. Oh, wow. Okay, you can hear me. Oh, wow. Okay, so it must be from their network. All right, people. Thank you so much. For those of us that will be watching the replay, please do remember to engage in the chat room. Thank you so much for staying till the end. I know it's been a long video, but you can reach out to us for parenting trainings in your schools, in your churches, and your organizations. It will be our pleasure to have you. Just contact the number on the recording for those of us that will be watching the replay. So thank you so much, and we'll get to see another time.